So, Jean, the state won by over 60% of the votes by Hillary Clinton last time around. Perhaps not surprisingly, that's set to be replicated again, isn't it?
Yes, as you see, it is evening here in Los Angeles, California. But as you mentioned, a lot of people also looking at the 2016 election with Hillary Clinton. Here in America, if you're not familiar with the system, even though the next presidential candidate could win the popular vote, it really comes down to the Electoral College. Here in California, we have the largest number of Electoral College votes at 55. But we have some new information. U.S. media is now calling it for Democrat Joe Biden, winning all of those 55 Electoral College votes. So once again, the largest in the nation. So that is new information coming out right now. We also know that Democrat Joe Biden is leading by a large margin in Arizona right now, and a Senate seat was won in Colorado by Democrats. So all of this information now coming in as a lot of the polling sites are starting to close here in America. But of course, there is a big time difference between the West Coast, where we are live in Los Angeles, California, and Washington, D.C. at the state capitol. Also, the big battleground states that we're talking about right now. Those are Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, the key battleground states. And we are still waiting for Texas results to come through. As of right now, though, here in the state of California, the voter turnout has been very high at 10.5 million voters casting their ballots. And those numbers are just coming out very slowly as well. But we know because of the ongoing pandemic, a lot of mail-in ballots were sent to 22 million voters that were eligible here in the state of California. And it could be the largest national turnout of voters as well as mail-in ballots in the last century. That is how big this election is right now.
Gene, we were talking just before we came on air. You were telling me that social media has been such a big thing across the US in this election, but particularly perhaps there in California. The two rival camps trying to ensure that they're kind of really in control of it and obviously watching very carefully as well what the other side are putting out.
That is very true. When we're talking about social media, we know that in the 2016 election with Hillary Clinton and ongoing elections into this one, really there has been a problem with social media. That is because a lot of people, not just in America, here in Southern California, but throughout the world have been depending, unfortunately, on misinformation that is put out, advertisements on Facebook, Twitter, as well as YouTube. So what those companies have now vowed to do is to make sure that if there is any false information, they're getting to that before it is put out to the public. And of course, as the election results will be coming in for the next few hours, they want to make sure that information is correct because they feel like if there is some type of cyber attack and social media is used, then that could influence the election and the popular thought of many of these voters.
And Jean, just finally, I mean, you were telling us in your first answer there about how well the Democrats are expected to do there. I mean, has there been tension? Because obviously we're starting to get some of those results starting to come in now and things, just very early indications that Donald Trump has perhaps done better than he might have done. I mean, were Democrats in California there feeling nervous about the results as they came in?
You know, largely since 1988, this has been a Democratic state here. So really, with pockets of Republicans throughout the state of California, of course, there was contention, there was controversy as they were battling the Republicans. However, we know that the governor here, Governor Gavin Newsom, has been very vocal and upfront, really battling President Donald Trump when it comes to those images of the massive, as they're called, super wildfires, also battles over climate change, the economy, and how the coronavirus was handled here and the pandemic itself. As we know in the nation, President Donald Trump has even had these massive rallies not wearing a mask, which has been criticized by Democrats. But when it comes to all of these 55 Electoral College votes, they felt confidence that they would win this because that has just been the tradition of the state of California. However, even with all of those Electoral College votes, we're going to have to wait and see who wins it all. That is going to be a massive question as the swing states, those are really the battleground states that we have to look out for right now.
Jean, thanks very much. Jean Kang joining us there from Los Angeles, keeping